Here's everyone. Thank y'all for being here. Mystic Journeys with HB and Derek.
How's everyone doing?
How was everyone tonight?
The aspect on the intro was a little bit wonky, but that's those technical difficulties we have. We'll get it right.
I'm sorry. Say again.
The
What was
aspect,
messed up?
like, see, you can't read the all the things on there. It was a little off.
We have our orientation set wrong is all. I can switch that.
Yeah. But thank you everyone for joining and watching.
Well, maybe we can't switch it
today,
whenever we're wrong. I'm doing okay. Yeah, I don't think we can change it once we're already live.
Yeah. No, that's all right. It's just I noticed that I was trying to read it when we was getting ready.
Yeah. Yeah, I had it switched, but I guess it switched back whenever we were joining back in.
We have it on that other video, like that we posted the other day, and it's anyone that wants to read it, they can go back and watch that. It's only 3 minutes. They can watch that and read.
Yep.
I hope everyone had a great weekend. Beautiful weather today. We got another nice day coming, and then we got some cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starting to dip its toes in the springtime, especially with the daylight savings time change.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like right now, normally I'd be doing the show, it'd be dark. And it's still light outside.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty warm today, 50 degrees, starting to get up into the 50s sporadically here.
Are you guys getting the snow again? Are you guys calling for snow
There's
again?
snow on the ground right now, but for the most part, it's about 90% melted after these past couple warm days we've had. It snowed like 3 days ago or so. Yeah, still some snow.
Yeah.
Still some snow. But like Nerdy was mentioning, it helps with that moisture up here in the mountains, helps whenever it starts to melt in the springtime. It'll feed all the mushrooms, basically, all the plants.
Foraging later, right?
Yep, 100%. 100%. I have a couple fables we can read here just in a couple minutes. I'm getting pulled up. Might have already read this one.
Domino's best.
Oh, this one's kind of long. This doesn't work. More than 2,000 years ago, a rich Greek merchant had a slave called Aesop. Not a very handsome slave, ugly, but full of wisdom. Superior. Once, to test the qualities of his slave, the merchant ordered, "Take Aesop, here's a bag of coins. Run to the market and buy the best ingredients for a banquet, the best food in the world." Shortly after Aesop returned from the market and placed on the table a plate covered by a fine linen cloth, the merchant had lifted the cloth in surprise. Ah, tongue. Nothing like a good tongue that Greek shepherds know prepared very well. But why did you choose exactly the language as the best food in the world? The slave, with his gaze lowered, explained his preference. What is better than language, sir? Language unites us all when we speak. Without language, we could not understand each other. Language is the key, organ of truth and reason. Thanks to language, cities are built. Thanks to the tongue, we can express our love. The tongue is an organ of affection, of tenderness, of love, of understanding. It is a language that makes eternal the verses of poets, the ideas of great writers. With the tongue, one teaches, persuades, instructs, prays, explains, one sings, is described, is praised, is demonstrated, is affirmed. With the tongue, we say mother and dear and God. With the tongue, we say yes. With the in language, we say I love you. Could there be anything better than language, sir? The merchant got up excitedly. Very good, Aesop. You have really brought me the best there is. Another bag of take now another bag of coins and go back to the market and bring what is the worst. Well, I want to see your wisdom. After some time, the slave returned from the market bringing a plate covered by a cloth, and the merchant received it with a smile. Yeah, I know what's the best is. Let's see now what's the worst is. The merchant discovered the plate and was outraged. What language? Language again? Language? Didn't you say that language was the best there was? Don't don't you want to be do you want to be whipped? Aesop looked down and responded, "The tongue, sir, is the worst there is in the world. It's the source of all intrigues, the beginning of all processes, the mother of all discussions. It is the language that separates the humanity, which divides the people, is the language that the wicked use." Yeah, this basically speaks on impeccability about how, you can do good and bad with your words. Same concept we talk about a lot. In fable form. I have a couple other we'll probably read throughout the show as we go on.
Power of life and death is in the tongue, right?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you can
You
speak
want to live
something.
and die?
Yeah,
Not what
you
we
know.
say. What we do. Yeah. Yep. By our first and our fourth. By our first and our fourth. Well, give me just a second. I'm gonna grab some more lemonade and be right back.
One thing we want to do is practice how we speak. You know, I don't know if we
Yep.
talk about that enough. You
Yeah.
know, these words casting spells and having, you know, positive impacts on us, but having the practice of, you know, speaking the right things, you know, taking
Yep. It
time,
starts with them.
you know, very, very important.
Yeah, I really do believe it starts with them because you can tell anybody to fuck off if you're used to it, and it doesn't really have an effect on your emotions. Or you can do the opposite of it. The same is true. You can tell someone that you love them and really just hand out your love to anyone who's not deserving or worthy of it. And both of those are like negative aspects of impeccability. But whenever you're speaking to yourself inside your mind, who you're around most often, it really can change the way you start speaking about other people. Because we do things like tell ourselves we love ourselves whenever we don't deserve it, and we do the opposite and we tell ourselves we're pieces of crap whenever we're not. So we do both of those things to ourselves. So it's a good place to start. Like, oh, that was stupid of me. Like, no, that wasn't stupid because that's speaking unimpeccably.
Mm-hmm.
Like, certain things are stupid, but certain things are just like simple mistakes, right? Like accidents that happen. Like we spill something or fucking hurt ourselves.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm very bad about that. Still, I practice myself a lot. Speaking good to myself.
You got to. You got to. I mean, that's the energy that you put back into yourself, and you know.
Yep.
You
And
know, we are our own worst critics. You know, we
yes,
beat
sir.
ourselves probably more than, you know, than we would for making the same mistakes. You know, so it's important to let ourselves off the hook to recover from it, not just to live in that same mistake. You know.
100%. Yep. Yep. It all starts with how we speak to ourselves, about ourselves. Yep. And see, the thing that I want to mention is I always relate the first to the fourth. I do this a lot because always doing your best starts with being impeccable with your word. Like it starts at the first, and being impeccable with your words starts with always doing your best. Because sometimes you might not say the kindest thing to people or say it in the nicest way, but what you have to realize is just like you were talking about how we kind of rag on ourselves and stuff like that, like I was mentioning as well. What we have to keep in mind is we have to be proud of ourselves for what people don't see, the battles that we're holding back, the things that we're trying to, fight within ourselves, and then things that people can't see. That they would never be able to experience unless they had literally stepped inside your shoes and lived your life. So yeah, it's important to remind yourself that whenever you're whenever people are like, "Hey, that was rude," or that wasn't impeccable. It's like as long as you're doing your best, you can live with no regrets. That's the whole idea of it. And getting better and better and practicing and getting a little fucking better each day. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes doing your best might be, being a dick to someone, and not
Yes, sir.
you're not completely going off on them, but just kind of being a dick.
Yes, sir.
that is your best at that time or that day. It ain't gonna be, all
We try to
kindness.
avoid being rude, but what people might interpret as rude is their second agreement, right? Like
Mhm.
it could be. We were talking about this. The example that I'm thinking of in my head is like whenever you're out at the store and people are being rude to people who are like, I could be like, "Hey, watch your fucking mouth." I go like go off at them, but like, what is that really going to solve or help or do anything? It's way more sophisticated and elegant and mature to be like, "Hey, you don't have to speak to people like that. We're all human beings standing here in a circle. Like, there's no reason to talk to people like that." And
Yeah.
that's not an example of what I'm speaking of, like, because that's a very kind way to talk to somebody. But there might be like an in between, right? Where it's like somebody could interpret it as rude, but it wasn't necessarily go fuck yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just practicing impeccability. It's really like the nuances of practicing impeccability. Watching every word you say and the meaning of the word that's attached to it. Not the meanings that we attach to it, but the actual meaning of the word, the real meaning of the word. Think about it when we say it. Like when we say I love you, or when we say I'm sorry about something, or I say I hate you. These are strong emotional words, and we need to make sure that they fit into the categories that they fit into.
Yeah. Absolutely. The
Language is hard.
very. It is. But we are so blessed that we're the only dogs can't communicate like we can. Deer can't.
Exactly, bro.
I mean, we're really blessed that we can. And we still have all these communication issues. You don't see, like
Exactly.
the wild kingdom fighting like people do.
100%. Because there's so many more words to misconstrue, right? Than just simple like facial recognition and stuff like that. 100%.
Yeah.
And then that's the gift, the double-edged sword of language, right? It's a gift and a curse. Because the same way, like, dogs have it simple. They don't have to fucking have a million words to describe intricate feelings and really think about the nuances of how they line stuff up. They just do what they do. They don't have to speak with their words. So, like, the few words they have are just simple barks and stuff. So, it's pretty easy to read. There's no, like, in betweens, that kind of stuff.
Growling. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, right.
they have easy tells for one another.
Yeah, and we have those too. We just built upon them, like building blocks, like a game of Jenga. Pull from the bottom and stack it on top and build this tower taller, on and on and on. But how many words do you think we have to make language really work, to make it work properly? Hundreds of millions of words. You know what I mean?
100. If you look at a Sunday newspaper, a lot of times there's less than 100 words in the whole Sunday newspaper. It's just like the same word, like the.
I mean, maybe you're right.
There's several.
I just think that there's already thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of words in a dictionary, but it's still not enough to explain every emotion that there is. Because people are all the time coming up with new words. Like, what about this emotion the feeling that you get whenever this happens? And then people are like, wow, I never heard of that or thought about that. So you create a whole new word. Say again.
I think we really overcomplicate things, and then that causes us problems.
Well, right, but we've gone too far to turn back now, and that's my whole point. We've gone too far to turn back now. We can't just abandon math and sciences and all this stuff. We have to keep going in the direction that we're going. We just need to make sure we need to get rid of the words that we don't use that are unnecessary and add in words that are more beneficial, and then make sure we as time they're doing this all the time, right? It's like literally the language of impeccability, like learning how to speak and use words and use them correctly and using the proper meanings to these words. It's intricate shit, dude. I'm speaking way outside my wheelhouse here. I'm not a language expert in any means, but I think like the communication of language with people is fucking really fascinating because it's so many words. I mean, yeah, I could say what I just said to you in 10 words, probably like a caveman, ooga booga shit, but I could also like really elaborate it a lot more. And that's the way I try to lean in life. Like I want to really like increase the intricacies of the words I'm saying so people can like get a more in-depth understanding of what I'm actually trying to say.
Right.
But you make a valid point, dude. I mean, I don't know if I agree with you or believe what you're saying, but I think like there holds some light and truth to that. Like there only needs to be so many words, but then somebody's going to be like, "Well, you forgot this word," and then somebody's going to be like, "Oh, you forgot this one," and then they're going to start creating their own language and doing what we've already done with language anyway. Like that's how language started, was with just grunts and stuff. So we made it more nuanced. So obviously we needed that right? Or we would have never done it.
Yeah.
Like there's an
Well,
evolutionary benefit to it.
these words that come from Greek and these words that come from Latin, and
Yes, sir.
then we have
Just
our
where do we
own.
draw the line? Like when do we have it? When do we have like the one language? Like that no one needs to learn a different language. We can all just speak one language. Like it's a crazy concept. Might not even be possible to do.
I
Might even
think
be
the
beneficial to do.
I think the next life would probably have a language like that, but I don't think we'll see it in our lifetime. You know what I mean?
Fair
'Cause
enough.
the world's just too big. It's just, you think you know something, and then someone comes and shows you no, you really don't. And
100%.
you
This is
know,
the
so
Kruger effect I talk about a lot. The more you know, the more you think you know, the less you actually know. And it's the concept, I think about this like whenever I first started taking psychedelics, it's kind of opened my idea to perception because you want to ask a question like, why does the sun work? How does it work the way it works? And you open that door, and it's like, well, to understand the way that the sun works, you have to understand nuclear fission and you have to understand the chemistry of hydrogen and all these different chemicals. So it's like you're opening up a door that leads to a room with four more doors, that each one of those doors has a room with four more doors. And every single door you go through after that, it's like never ending. We're never going to get to the full. I mean, that's the fucking exciting part about life is that we're never going to be able to be like fully knowledgeable about everything that there is. But I can be as fully knowledgeable as about what I know as I can know, and use for what you know, and so on and so forth
yeah,
as a collective.
someone can pursue a specific like everything about the sun, and they can spend their life gaining that knowledge, but they'll never know how to waterproof a tile membrane for a shower, or top dead center for on a 5.3, or whatever. There's just so many different things that people might know and learn, but then there's so many things that they don't know. Even
Yes, sir.
how it works. I mean, it's something as basic as that.
100%. And this
So
speaks exactly what I was talking about why we need language and why it needs to be as intricate as it does. Because if you're just walking in the woods and hunting deer, yeah, you only need basic words. But if you're trying to like understand chemistry and physics and biology and stuff like this, you have to elaborate your vocabulary, or else you're not going to be able to articulate what you're trying to say. Because what is a microorganism to somebody who lived in the 1700s? It's like it's nothing because they didn't understand it, but they had to create this word because of this new concept that totally changed our life, presumably for the better, right? In the grand scheme of it all, it's just assumed, right? But it speaks to the idea of sacred geometry, and I've talked about this with Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson a lot with you guys, because there isn't a fundamental understanding of the world, and it usually revolves around math and science. It's just we're just trying to unlock these little puzzle pieces and open these doors one by one to be able to get a better understanding of it fully.
yeah,
This is stuff I nerd out about, like watching evolutionary videos or watching space videos and stuff like that. Just trying to understand the world or better what it is.
one thing I like
Traveling's taught me a lot.
a lot of the shows like that. I like watching them too, but a lot of them are over 10 years old. Especially like I just seen
Well, I
on
watch
Prime.
mine on YouTube, so I have a couple people, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but I'll actually recommend you some on YouTube. Some people that I watch for space or like dinosaurs, evolution, and shit like that, and they're always constantly uploading. And it's not like AI information and stuff. So yeah,
Oh,
that's
cool.
why I try to get mine on YouTube because obviously History Channel and Discovery they quit doing that kind of stuff a long time ago, unfortunately.
That's what I was gonna say. Is I just seen on Prime the other day. There was a Dan Aykroyd UFO show on there. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
cool. Like it said, it was new on Prime. So new on Prime, you probably assume that it's a new show, but I think it's like 10 or 15 years old. I'm like,
Well,
so much has come out since then. That is just like so
Da- Danny Trejo's got one, but it's like $20 a season. I'm like, you guys are crazy, bro. Like $20 for a season of shows?
wow.
That's pretty wicked to me. I don't know.
I seen
But
a
yeah, he has
UFO.
one that's basically the same exact thing as what you're talking about with Dan Aykroyd. It's just with Danny Trejo. Talks about
Yeah,
like UFOs and fucking space and shit.
I seen one. This was about 12 years ago. In North Carolina, it was a mirror-looking one, all triangle, and it was like still over a mic of mine. And I was driving. I was like, I noticed it because it was different than the clouds. And before I could like stop and get my phone out, was like gone, like as fast as you can move your finger across the sky. That's how fast it went. And then it was, it had to been further than Charlotte, and I couldn't see it anymore. But that was
Looking,
to see it like still, and then gone.
and you just don't know what it was.
It was a triangle looking mirror, and I kind of Googled it after that, and I seen some similar pictures of people that had seen like what I saw, and they said, I mean, there's all kinds of conspiracy stuff, like saying it's
Of
government,
course,
but I'm like,
of course.
not sitting.
I have a pretty cool story of that as well. I'll save it for a different day, but yeah,
I don't think
starts to make you question. I think those things are there to make us question because it's the same concept of being able to drink water out of one pond and not being sick out of another. But you could argue that somebody blessed that pond. That's the reason why, like, God has blessed that pond. But once you understand bacteria, like I was saying, then you understand, oh, it has to fucking do with the way the bacteria is in the water. Like, this is the reason why I'm getting sick in this pond and not in this one. So it's the same thing with what you're seeing in the sky. There's always a reasonable science, typical explanation, even if it seems magical and mystical to our brains, to something outside of our realm or solar system or whatever, right? Who knows?
Oh, we get played. Do you remember all the UFOs that were in New Jersey and whatever a few years ago? When they ended up being what we don't even know, right? I mean, but I think some people said that they was like weather balloons with like strobe lights on them, some shit.
Correct.
So I think a lot of that stuff we're also getting played. But I know in the North Carolina hills we do have some really suspicious looking stuff out there. These different lights that go zooming around and stuff. It's not something that could be natural, like a flashing strobe light just hanging out in the sky,
Correct. Yeah, I've seen some things that are pretty unexplainable. Well, only one event that I've had that was like really blew my mind. Whenever I was younger. Maybe I'll tell a story on it one day. I don't know if I get into it right now, but yeah. It wasn't like a traumatic event or anything. I just don't feel like talking about it. It's hard to like talk about that stuff anyway because people don't have enough. If it wasn't me telling the story, I always tell my friends this too, as I'm telling them. I'm like, if it wasn't me telling you this story, I wouldn't believe it. But because of who I am, like it happened to me. Fuck, dude.
What do you get out of lying about something stupid like that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly right.
It's not going to be your face on a UFO.
Exactly.
No dumb shit like that.
Exactly right. And if it's done anything to me, like it's done exactly what I talked about with the idea of opening a door to a million more doors. I mean, that's kind of really where the idea originated in my head because I always wanted to see a UFO. And when you see something like that, you're like, what the fuck even is that? Could it be the government? Maybe I just saw something that wasn't, you start to question yourself whenever like your senses like reacted a certain way. So it's like, I always question myself because we're human beings and we're fooled by like, optical illusions, basically. Not even optical illusions, but illusions in our life in general. Sound illusions and just the way our brain plays tricks on us. So I'm always open to that kind of thing.
The one I see, it was in the afternoon. So I mean, I was sober minded because I was driving to pick up my children from school. So it wasn't like, no, Derek, you weren't high, you were tripping.
Right.
It was nothing like that. It was like disbelief. Like, why I seen that? Why did I see that? How did nobody else see that? How did not a ton of people see that? Why isn't it on the news? Kind of feeling I had.
That's what I said too. Right. Because whatever, I was a kid whenever this happened. I told my mom about it, and that's what she said to me. She's like, "Oh, well, if you saw it, and I'm sure other people saw it, it would be on the news." So I never did call into the news, but I waited to see if other people would, and nobody ever did. But it's a whole different story about like what they want the media to be portrayed, and this was kind of morbid. But a couple weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago, they had somebody jump off a building here in Denver, and they were talking about how somebody actually witnessed it, and then they were talking about it on Reddit about how they didn't portray it on the news because it's like fucking heartbreaking story and stuff like that. They don't want people to know about it or whatever. So this happens a lot. So if they could do that about reasonable scenarios, obviously they could just turn it around and use it for their own willpower or whatever.
I can understand that type of situation because you don't want other people that are kind kind of having, they might be having
Right.
sick ideas and
Yeah.
but,
Somebody's dealing with the death of their friend or their son is having to watch it. Yeah. Yeah, it's horrible. But they have been, I'll say they, you know what I mean? Government has been keeping stuff from us. Who knows, man? It's a great, interesting question. Maybe we'll get into that shit later.
I believe Nerdy had sent Kim and Laura the link to join. So
Okay.
whenever they're feeling froggy, if they're in the chat, so they can
Yeah,
chime
that is totally fine.
help us out some.
Was
I know Kim knows a lot
that
about space and such, and
about what?
about space.
Yep.
Space.
Astrophysics. Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys are welcome to come on up if you want. Is that a new necklace you're wearing, Kurt?
No, this is the same one. I just kind of
The
had
same
that.
one?
Yeah,
Looks different with that shirt. It's cool. Yeah.
I was wearing a different shirt, and then we hit the 3 minutes, and then I changed shirts real quick. I do that, so if someone sees me at the very beginning, wearing a different shirt, and then I go and change real quick. Just being.
I got about 20 new beanies. Just put a new beanie on every time.
Oh yeah. I was cleaning up earlier today, and I found several of my my beanies. I got like 3 of them with that light on there. That you can use. You hit the light. Those are pretty.
Always good to have.
Hmm.
Yeah, they use them in the south to hunt raccoons and shit a lot. Deer, coming out of the
Yeah.
woods at night.
What do they call it? Gigging for frogs, I think.
Yep. Or noodling for catfish.
Yeah. Have you ever
I
done
don't know
that?
if you're wearing a beanie, but nah, man, you gotta be fucked up. I'm not that kind of southern boy. I fucking hang out with a couple of those country motherfuckers like that though.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I like to catch mine on a bush hook though, man, because that's the way you do it. Which is what you take like a threaded line and you put a big circle hook on there. You put like a half a brim on there, throw it out, and tie it to a bush, like literally like a log or something on the edge of the bank. So whenever you start to see the fucking limb, you go back to the bank and start fishing with your rod, catching smaller fish and stuff. But whenever that limb starts to shake, you can catch 50, 60, 70-pound catfish easily. Big monster catfish, dude.
I'm kind of well, kind of scared to be honest about it now, like because of we got gators and stuff in
Yeah,
the water around here now.
yeah,
So
bro. Oh yeah, from you all down to Florida, bro. It's horrible. It gets worse and worse as you go down farther. I'm from. We used to hunt in a place called Lake Marion, South Carolina, full of fucking gators, dude. We used to go duck hunting out there, and you could hear their little babies in the swamp in the grass. I think I added you in, Laura. We'll see.
yeah, I see that.
I don't think I clicked it. There we go.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hello.
I'm good. Let's see.
Do you like it like that stacked, or do you want to do you know how to like side by side, or
I can't change it, unfortunately, because we're already live, and I can't do landscape mode. So I think we're gonna have to be stacked. There's no other options.
yeah?
The
Nerdy's
only thing I can do is make her bigger.
Nerdy's are technical because he's using a laptop when he comes on, so
Yeah, so he should be able to do it, but for some reason on mobile it just won't let me click it. It's like not even letting me allow to access that button. Or
yeah.
normally we already set it before the show.
Oh, and Kim's here. Awesome.
How are you doing tonight, Laura? Kim, welcome in. How are you guys doing tonight, girls, guys?
Oh, wow. No, I have no sound.
We can hear you,
Hmm,
and you can't rely on the lag because the lag is.
Try.
Laura, can you hear us?
I can, yeah.
I know,
Sweet,
but
how
I
are you
can't
doing?
I'm
find how to
good.
do the sound.
How have you been since we last spoke?
Well, looks like it's good, though. I still don't hear it. I have sound. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
I
hear
can-
you.
Okay.
I can hear you. Well, I don't think she.
I can't hear anything. Anybody
Yeah.
else?
That's fine. We can hear you though.
I can see all four. I
Kim, you
Can
can try.
you let
going
me
out and
hear
then-
what you're hearing? Because I
Yes.
can't hear anything.
Which one of these is your volume?
See if I can
These two.
Turn your volume up.
It's already all the way up.
All right.
Right.
There you go. No, you just took full screen.
Cheers, can you hear us now?
All right. No?
Derek, I love that background.
Thank you.
It gets like such DMT vibes to me. I don't
There's
know why.
jammers.
Kim, if you can't
I
hear,
just-
you might want to.
There's a lag. There's a terrible lag.
Yeah, the lag is like almost.
But I
2
can't
minutes.
hear anything anybody is saying, is what I'm
Well, you
saying.
got something going on.
This is the same problem that Rodman was having that one
Touch
day.
the screen and look for the.
I looked and it looks like her.
That
all
works?
her audio is-
That's your camera. Hear that.
Yeah, I checked the
You should be
settings.
here.
and
Look at that.
right on my
That's-
end.
See what that is. See if that.
I think you can hear me, right? But I can't
Yes,
hear
cool.
anything.
There.
Give her a thumbs up, please, Derek.
Well,
Yeah, we can hear you.
that doesn't help me. Could you put your volume on so I have somebody so I can hear what everybody is saying? Because I can't hear diddly.
With the lag, you probably want to exit and then come right back. Try that and see if that corrects it. Because we have like a minute and a half lag. So
Just lost.
On YouTube, yeah. Sometimes, usually about 30 seconds on mine, but yeah.
I'm gonna get off and then I'm
Well,
gonna
my
try
phone-
this again.
Kim doesn't
back.
even hear you. So it's Wait, now it is. Okay. But yeah, we have a serious lag here. How was your day today, Laura?
Good. I actually got the fifth agreement in the mail.
Fucking right,
awesome.
cool. It's awesome. We'll be reading
I'm
that one pretty
excited.
soon.
I haven't read it yet.
Sweet. So we'll all be reading it together here really soon. We're just going to finish up. We got a chapter or two left in the 4 agreements. I think in one more chapter. And then we'll be getting on to the 5th agreement. So sweet. It's nice to be able to have you read along with us. And if anybody else in the chat wants to be able to pick it up, you guys can pick it up on Amazon, either individually or they have a whole bundle that you can get with all the books, the Don Miguel books. All right, let's try this again.
There's a
Hello,
spot
hello.
that's saved there. This is what I'm seeing.
There you are.
I
Can you hear
get
us?
it. I
Hello,
think
hello?
it's just the lag, but I still can't hear
You
anything.
got your camera turned off. So I mean, it's got to cross there. So I don't know what that's doing.
Let me try exiting and then see if you guys can hear Kim.
I don't know.
There you are.
Can
Well,
you hear Kim?
hi everybody. I can't hear
Hello, hello.
anything anybody says.
All right.
Let's read the chat.
Hey, here, I'll get you actually. Just let her tell a story in the thing. I was gonna ask Laura. Laura, you could add into our UFO debate if you have anything to add, or space, any of the impeccability stuff we were talking about, if you'd like.
I
Or if
missed
you
it.
just like to speak about
I got
if you just like
late.
to speak about Women's Day in general.
Yeah, I'm not ready. I was counting on Kim. I was counting on Kim to carry us. She's such a great talker.
You know what? If we can't get it to work, then we can always have you guys back. We'll just have you hang out with us, and if we have to get you guys back on at a different day, next Wednesday or whatever, or this Wednesday rather.
Yeah, I
totally
know.
fine.
Oh, I should have had things pulled up, but I don't. I know there's lots of women in mycology, but
Correct.
I can't off
Yeah,
the
I
top
have
of
some as
my head.
well.
I'm prepared.
It's funny because Pops was talking about Terrence McKenna's daughter this morning about how she's kind of like bringing back his archives. I think that's fucking beautiful. We need people like that.
Yeah. I was just looking into, I think her name's Susan Gray, and she studied under Don Miguel Ruiz.
Okay.
And her book is coming tomorrow. It was supposed to come this weekend so that I could read it, but I don't have it yet. But I'm really excited to look into what she's done with the 4 agreements.
Okay, sweet. She has her own interpretation on it, is what you're saying?
Yes, she studied under Don Miguel and his mother actually for several
cool.
years, and then went off on her own to become a teacher.
I feel like those people are like here on a mission for a greater good. Like they're called to people like Dawn and so on and so forth. And she's going to inspire the next generation of people.
Hmm.
That's why it's so important to celebrate. That's why to me, I thought about it in any time I can get a chance to celebrate women because, you know, me and my mom, and not to be a soft story, but we didn't have a really great relationship. So it developed like a nasty reputation for me and like ladies in general whenever I was a kid. So as I got older, some of my best friends in my whole fucking life were girls. So I was like, it's just my negative stigma. And the more I talk about it, it's either going to get people to have to face the question themselves, or they're going to have to accept who they are, I guess, as a sexist person. Because there's no reason like women like, and it's just the same thing with race, right? I'm not obligated to fucking pay somebody back because their grandfather was a slave and my grandfather enslaved them, but which isn't the case in either aspect I want to mention. But I'm just talking hypothetically here. It's the same thing with women. Like women were oppressed in the past, so we might as well give them a platform now. Because just the same way that we didn't do it to women, who are we to not give them a platform to be able to speak, have their time to shine?
We have a long way to go too.
Yeah, 100%.
Especially in today's society.
Yeah, and not just because of sex, though, right? It has to do with sex, it has to do with race, it has to do with hair color, and everything in between. Like, you like Led Zeppelin. I don't like Led Zeppelin. I like listening to freaking Kid Cudi, or it's like people are just like have so different of opinions that they get stuck in their ego that they don't want to get along with people. It makes it really difficult.
But if you start a business and you hire all women, then you have to pay them less, so there's that.
Well, this is what we're trying to change and turn around, right? This is the reason why I'm bringing up Women's Day, because I think about it all day long, and I'm like, certain women might come to me and be like, HB, the reason you're even talking about Women's Day is really sexist. Like, you bringing it up and stuff. It's like, that is a really good like argument for it. But I think the reason why we need to speak about it is exactly what you just said, is because there's still oppression in women's rights today, which is fucking stupid. Because we should all be treated the fucking same, regardless if you're Mexican or black, or regardless if you're a guy or a girl, or regardless if you're old or young. It's like stupid. We've been saying this since the 70s and we still haven't fixed it. It's 50 years later, dude. And we have to be the ones. We have to be the ones to make the change. So if we could do something
What were
simple
you
as
saying about UFOs? Are they?
We were just talking. Actually, we went down a rabbit hole. We kind of like chuckled down the rabbit hole. But Derek was explaining his UFO story, just about an experience that he had. And I was saying that I have one, so I didn't explain my experience and everything. But have you ever had any experiences like that? Maybe with like
I
spirits
don't
or...
have any UFO experiences. I'm ready if one comes.
Right on, cool.
I used to stand in my backyard stargazing, and I'd see something.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a slow moving plane or fast moving plane, but I'd stand there and I'd be like, hey, come get me. But then I have thoughts they could be doing experiments on me for a long time, and that wouldn't be so cool either. So I think I'll stay put.
100%.
It's definitely not out of the realm of, like, I think it's a thing, but I just don't have proof.
Them experimenting on us? Or UFO?
Like I was explaining to Derek, whenever I have my experience, it's the same thing. Like even though I witnessed it with my eyes, I know that human beings are like susceptible to hallucinations or fucking illusions or stuff like that, right? Not that I think I was hallucinating because I was a kid, but I just know that there's like optical illusions that people can be fooled under, which I don't think happened to me. But I'm like a scientific minded person, so I'm wise enough to know to be like, hey, anything I saw in the sky could have been anything I saw. Like it could have been freaking toy plane or something like that. I don't know.
Mm.
But I used to lay on my window at night. My bed was next to my window, so I would put my pillow on my windowsill. I would open up my window in the summertime. I'd lay out and look at the stars, and I would map them through. Even in the wintertime, I would open up my window and just map the Big Dipper, the three bottom stars of the Big Dipper, and I would just follow them all the way along the sky every night. Try to map the stars and look up like all the constellations, which I don't even remember any of them. Even still, when I look it up, I'm like, it's like hard for me to wrap my head around, like trying to figure out where Orion's belt is and stuff like that. But that's why you see me with like the space background, or you'll see me with the space neck beanies on, or in the neck gaiters rather. So yeah, it's just kind of developed. I think growing up, I would share a lot of these space documentaries with my friends. I would be like, "Oh, you guys got to check this out, man! It'll blow your mind." And they would get like really anxious and like not want to watch it. And like, I just don't like that, man. It just bothers me. I'm like, I get it because it really makes you question like the same feeling they're getting. I'm getting too, but I just like fall into it. I'm like, I enjoy like thinking about how infinite space is and about how we don't have a grasp on anything that we know. And we barely have a grasp of what's here on this globe that we're living on, much less anything outside of what we know. And it just leads to the idea of aliens and the idea of what if we were, looking at us from a different perspective as human beings from a different culture, like how would we view that? And it's really psychedelic, man. It's a trip.
I've always been interested in this stuff. When I was a kid, I would actually sneak out of my house, and we lived down the street from the beach. I'd go down to the beach and I would lay there on the sand and just stare at the sky, and it was really awesome. Like, just it seemed like, almost like being alone in the universe. There was nothing
Yeah,
that
dude, like
bothered.
time stops. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Like nothing could happen.
stars, you're counting shooting stars or whatever over the ocean and stuff. It was really cool. And then
Yeah, man.
move out here and it's you swat mosquitoes while you're trying to enjoy the skies.
I mean, up here in the mountains is a different story, man. It's like nothing I've ever witnessed because you're so high up in the sky and there's no like, I'm in the mountains. There's no or light pollution rather, no air pollution. There's no light pollution, so you can just see forever. It's like you actually see the Milky Way for the first time.
Yeah, we can see the aurora sometimes here, and it really helps
Right.
with like if I see a little bit of pigment out there, I can use the long exposure and I can get some really good pictures. And I have
Wow. You do that on your phone?
on my phone, and I have a
Wow.
I have
How
a
does it
big
have that effect?
I don't have a camera for my telescope. I got one of those things like you can put on the eyepiece and use your phone as a camera on the telescope. Um,
Yeah.
and
I've seen that before. I never used it though.
that's pretty neat. The telescope, it's got like this remote. They have a piece that you can plug in. It'll like automatically track the stars, but I'm not paying $200 for that, so I use a remote and can position it, But it's a lot to learn. It really is. You think it's an easy hobby or whatever, but it's either a lot of money or a lot to learn. There's two things there. There's some people you
Yeah.
see those astrophotography pictures, and they're using something that's like $10,000. So that eliminates a lot
Yes,
of
sir.
hobby. It's like
I can't even remember the last time I used a telescope. But both of those things keep me from doing it. I'm pretty old school. I can get enough just by going out in the sky, smoking a joint, and looking up. Like I don't need to see what's actually out. Like we're not gonna figure it out either. The only thing you can really see is that maybe you can see the rings on like a planet, or you can see the moon, the craters on the moon. But in the reality of it all you're doing is seeing the stars a lot closer than they already are. You're not actually seeing the star for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, those really nice pictures, leave that to someone that's spent a lot of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe I'm not giving it enough credit too, just because I've never, like I said, I've never used it, or it's been a while since I've used it. Kim, we're gonna try you again. But, hey, can you hear us? Oops.
Mike's phone.
Second idea. Hello, hello.
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Perfect. What's up? What's up?
Pop it out of the case.
That's all right.
You're welcome. I'll help.
Hey, Kim, how are you doing?
I'm good. It's nice to meet you, HB.
Nice to meet you as well. It's, not really technically meeting, but yeah, so I like to think it's like a first step. Appreciate you guys for joining us. MVP, what's up, buddy? How are you doing, man?
He just left the room. I think he may have needed it a
Okay,
little bit.
sweet. Okay. Technology, like that's what Dirty comes in here sometimes. He's like, because the computer stresses him out. Honestly, between all three of us, I think we have enough technical problems that one day it's going to be a show where we're not going to be able to stream for like 20 minutes because all of us are down. But how are you doing? You want to add into our conversation? We were talking about space and anything like that.
I missed half the conversation because we've been poking at the thing. For some reason, I couldn't hear you guys when
We
I was
didn't
in
really
earnest.
talk about anything, Kim. I froze up and said, I was waiting for Kim. I thought she was
I think there's a lot of things out there we don't, as the average person, know about. I think there's a lot of
What do you
things.
You teach this in school, correct? Physics,
I
astrophysics?
teach astronomy and not really astrophysics. It's a community college, so it's all beginning things. So it's beginning
sweet.
astronomy.
So basically, like we were talking about, like learning a or a telescope rather, and stuff like that.
Right. Using telescopes, and we have sky viewings, and it's simple and very basic. But I encourage my students to have opinions on these kind of things because
You also teach physics.
it gets them to think. I teach physics as well,
Correct.
so
That's why
And-
that's my misconception. Okay. Yes.
that involves a little more math.
Correct. And do you take pictures of this, take videos and stuff like we were talking about in the telescopes, or do you just do showings for students?
We try sometimes. As a graduate student, I took a spectrum of Comet Hale-Bopp as one of our projects, but since then it's more low tech where we're holding the telephone over the eyepiece and kind of hovering and trying to get a good shot.
There was talking. Yeah. It's still badass, right? Because compared to what we could do 20 years ago, I mean, we were just thinking about this. Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing?
See y'all later, guys.
All right, have a good night, okay?
Yep. I just had to bomb it one time.
Perfect, buddy. We like it. What about do you have any women maybe that you want to speak about in the science community?
There was a woman that preceded me through the physics department at Tech, and she now works at NASA and is on the board of regents for Texas Tech University. And she has kind of been an inspiration to me. She was, I think, the first Hispanic origin person to work for, female to work for NASA. And
Okay, sweet.
following in her footsteps as the next, there's not a lot of females that go into the physics department as a physics major, and following in her footsteps was a little intimidating. But I saw a documentary that included an interview with her, and it was really inspiring to see her, I don't know, her path. She was training to
Right.
be an astronaut, and she was like within the group of 200 that they're going to select from, which is narrowed down considerably. And she was selected to be in the next cut, but she happened to get a kidney stone. And they had just made the rule that if you have the ability for your body to make a kidney stone, if you've ever had one, then it doesn't matter if they've gotten rid of it. You can't be an astronaut. So
Wow.
for her to recover from her dreams ultimately kind of being altered and see it work out for her anyway has been really cool. That's
What was her name?
somebody locally, but nobody knows this person.
What's her name though?
I'm drawing a blank.
Have y'all seen
She-
that movie,
Okay.
Hidden Figures? Hidden
What
Figures.
was that?
Hidden Figures, the
No,
movie
sir.
Hidden Figures.
I have not yet. I have the
That's
book
a
and
good
I
movie.
want to read the book before I watch the movie.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. That's about some ladies that were they did the calculations for the for NASA back in the day, and this was during a time of segregation. So I mean, they not only female, but they had it especially rough because they were dealing with segregation too. But they were responsible for the astronauts' completed mission and it being successful.
I remember
I
hearing.
think it's a Disney
Sorry.
movie. It was a really good movie.
What was the name of the movie again?
Hidden Figures.
I don't remember watching the movie, but I remember that whole story. I must have read something.
Yeah. I think there's been a lot of like those little short story memes and stuff online
I might.
since the movies come out. So a lot of us have seen those too. But the movie is it's a really good movie. It's
I'll have
worth a
to
watch.
check that out.
Read the book first, and then compare the movie to it. But yeah, it's a great story.
Sweet. Maybe you should share it over
The,
on Discord so we can get the link out to people.
the
Yeah.
lady's name is Ginger something.
Okay.
I pulled that out.
All right.
My
Sweet.
volatile memory is becoming more volatile as I go on.
People should. I thought about looking it up and maybe it will here in just a second because you said she was the first Hispanic woman in NASA, involved with NASA,
Yeah,
correct? Yeah, so
right.
that would be very easy for people to find. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that there aren't very many women in physics? Because it like thinking about it logically, it's like in construction, obviously you would have more men than women, but why do you think in physics there aren't a lot of women, or they're just now starting to be more women?
I think that has changed. I think there's a lot more women now. In my classes, it's mainly women, but it's shifted over the last 20, 30 years. And I don't know what made it shift. There's more, I guess, maybe scholarship opportunities. They've really encouraged women in STEM fields. So maybe it's the pendulum swinging to the other extreme.
Correct.
I don't know.
It just makes
I
you
was
wonder why
glad
in the
for the
first place it was even like that to begin with. Like, was it like a men oppression thing, or was it just the fact that women felt like they weren't like able to do it, or they felt like they couldn't get the qualifications to do it? Like, I wonder what the deal was.
I think men and women tend to think differently, and there may be some exceptions. I tend to think more like guys do, I think, but most
Causes
women aren't
conflict
as
in the work
analytical.
environment.
They're,
Right.
I don't know, more nurturing and focus on different things, maybe.
I think in the past, education was set up to guide men towards those professions and guide women before the last, like you said, 20 years. Like there was definitely a bias in the education system.
Yeah. I
Right.
was thinking about that too.
Women stayed home and had kids, and the
30
men,
plus years ago, yeah, kind of. You know, they gotta look. I mean, because I mean, not to take anything from women, but back then, 30 plus years ago, people were able to survive a one income household. So there wasn't
Correct.
um the demand or whatever, like the guy wanted to be the breadwinner or whatever, and but it's totally changed. People need 2 or 3 incomes to survive. So
you know,
I think the biggest difference between men and women are the way we think. The biggest differences are our experiences, is because there obviously are a lot of biological differences between men and women. Like guys are going to carry more testosterone, so they're going to carry more anger generally than women. But there are going to be women that cross over that threshold. But the fact of the matter that women can even have a baby to begin with, and then they have a different relationship with their mothers than a son does with their mother or father. It's like totally it's a different experience. So that's why you get a generality of women are totally different than men, because yeah, they live a totally different experience than men ever could, because they don't have to deal with like half the things that women do on a daily basis, as far as like culturally or physically, right? Or mentally for that matter, because of their experience. It's the same way that somebody was raised in a tough neighborhood versus the way somebody was raised in a rich neighborhood. It's a totally different experience that one or the other would never be able to get. And if the world was split down the middle like that, half of the people would be trying to get the other people to convince them to see it from their side and vice versa. So the reality of it is we just have to understand that we all come from different experiences, regardless if we're a guy or girl. That there are going to be guys that have the same experiences as a general population of girls and vice versa, but that girls are going to have a different experience no matter what, because they have the ability to be able to carry babies and they have a different upbringing that they came from, or even in our history, the way that they've been oppressed. Like, this is the whole idea of today, is that there's been so many women in science and you name it, any industry that there ever was, where a guy took credit for her work because he's a guy, of course. But now today, of course, things have changed, but we should still, like I said, give people the credit.
I think that this shows the importance of having as many experiences as you can, because the more experiences you have, the more you can identify with others and kind of see through
Correct.
their eyes and walk in your shoes a little bit.
Yeah, their perspective. Correct. And the agreements help along the way, right? To not make sure to take things not take things personally, or not have the assumption that a girl is going to act the same as you, or that she should act the same as you, or vice versa. Like, when we start having these things in our head that, oh, because you're a different color, that you should act a different way than me, or because you're a different sex, you should act the same way as me, or we start to have these assumptions and expectations about how people should act and what they should do, then it kind of ruins. And then whenever we take things personally about how people do act, that kind of, it's like practicing the agreements is beneficial in that aspect, 100%. But yeah, we were talking about UFO stories. Have you ever had a UFO, especially looking up in the night sky? If anybody looks up in the night sky, it's you. Have you seen any UFOs? Let us know. Do they exist?
I thought I did on a July the 4th. My friend and I were sitting out on the back porch, and I saw something that I don't think was a firework. It didn't behave like a firework. It looked like, no, it's been about 8 years. And it looked like it was just two lights oscillating, but then I realized it was something that was rotating, and I was seeing the lights as it rotated. And it went behind a tornado siren speaker where I couldn't see it, and then it never came out from behind it. So I don't know what that was.
Right, trajectory, right, 100%.
Either
This
it
is
took
what we were
off.
just talking about earlier. Before you got here, we were saying this, like, whenever you have a question, especially about UFOs or something like that, it opens a door to a room with 4 more doors. So it doesn't really answer your question to see something like that. It just makes you have more questions, like, what is this? Where did it come from? Where did it go? Like, those kind of questions.
I had a friend that worked in the FBI, and he retired. He was also in the Air Force and flew over Area 51. And he said that as he was flying, he saw something that was like those T-square shaped things, but it was thin enough that a human could not have fit in it to be piloting it. And it flew right across his path. And he should have felt some turbulence from going across its wake, but there was no turbulence. And he radioed down, and there was nothing on the radar. They didn't have any reports of anything. And when he came back down, they made fun of him and called him Alien John. About 2 weeks later, his friend came to him and said, John, you know what you described, what you saw the other day? I saw it too. So apparently he was flying and saw the same thing. And I've met this guy, I known him for a long time, and I feel like he's a credible witness and has no reason to make something like that up. But he couldn't explain what he saw, and it was right in front of him. I think maybe you're onto something, HB, and saying that it's an illusion, that maybe they're painting our retinas or projecting some kind of
playing with our
image,
mind or whatever.
yeah,
Right.
something. I don't know. It depends on how advanced technology there actually is.
Correct.
I think a
And
lot
that's the
of
point
people
that I was trying to make, is that you just don't know.
I think a lot of people stay silent though for the fear of not being labeled a kook, especially someone like a
Correct.
pilot, a professional like that. I'm sure, like, being up in the sky all day long, going back and forth, like a lot of these regional pilots, I'm sure they see some things. But in job security or whatever, they're not going to say, "Oh, I saw this" or "I saw that," because then, like, yeah, okay,
Ridiculous.
But I think the best thing they could do if they do see something is, about the phone and document it. You know, you don't have to share it with everybody. You can throw it online random or whatever, you know, like anonymously, but not, you know, sacrifice your reputation or, you know, your job, your career. But I mean, I believe there's a lot of things out there. Like I seen an airplane that came in and it had a huge dent on its front cone. And they say that it was like some kind of orbital spear that crashed into the front of the plane. And this was probably a decade ago. But it, you know, it was real. The plane had the physical damage, you know, and then people were like, I don't know. You know, I think because they didn't want to say, oh, this happened, you know, but like the passengers, they didn't care, so they was talking about it. But I think there's a lot of stuff going on that we could document and then see, like you're saying, you know, is it tricks of our mind or is it really like proof, you know? Um, I seen something recently
Yeah.
flying back from California, and by the time I got my phone out, all I could see was like a cloud of smoke. But I, and again, I was taking cold medicine, so I wasn't feeling that great, and I think it could have been my mind playing tricks on me. But we was probably over Arizona at this point, and I seen something. It looked like it come up and then went like that, like did an up and then a turn and went the other way, and you could see the smoke, but it did not look big enough to be a plane. I thought I seen like Iron Man or something like. Now that is really wild, but I mean, and like I have a video of my phone and I can see the smoke and that's it. But like that fast, it was gone.
Yeah.
You know,
That
and
could be the
I
same
was
concept
wondering,
of us like putting a magnifying glass
on the
on a
plane, nobody else
anthill.
seen it. So I don't know. Could have been, but I do have the video of like this circle of smoke on my phone, you know. But nobody else on the plane was like, hey, look at that, you know. I was expecting that and didn't hear nobody say nothing. So I don't know.
Right.
Crazy stuff.
It's an interesting concept because you know the difference between DNA of a human being and a chimpanzee is 1%. So if aliens had the same concept, then this is not my idea, obviously, but yeah, if aliens had 1% more advanced brain chemistry than we did, and they could theoretically mess with us the same way that monkeys do. Like essentially do magic or something on our face, and we're like, "Wow, what was that?"
If aliens can't, if it is aliens that are here, why do you guys think they are coming here? Or have they always been here?
Well, it's kind of the big idea whenever I had saw my UFO, and I didn't tell my story, but I guess for context, I'll just tell it like a general thing of it real fast. Obviously, I grew up south. I did a lot of hunting, and whenever we were out hunting one night, it was probably November, starting to get pretty cold. We were out hunting, and then after we got done hunting, we went back and we would get on the 4-wheeler and we would spotlight deer. What spotlighting deer is you go out in the field and you shine for a deer and you make sure you check the population, make sure to count how many does and deers and or sorry bucks and stuff you have. So we were doing that afterwards, and then we went back and we were at the top of the hill coming on the way back, and we could see it looked like, you know, a lot of people like describe a light in the sky or something like that, but this is like it was the clearest day. It was like a flying saucer, a UFO, like you would see in the movies, just like a flying saucer shaped flying saucer. And I looked at it, and before I could even get the words out of my mouth, I was riding with two friends on the same 4-wheeler. We were all riding together. One of them goes, "Oh my God, you see that?" And the other one goes, "It's a UFO." And I'm just sitting there with my mouth wide open looking at this thing like, holy shit. But anyway, after that, I was kind of like theorizing, like the same question you're asking, like, okay, like let's say it was a UFO. Why would they be here? What would they be doing? And I could only like take inferences from what I was seeing is because we were spotlighting deer. And if you're looking at that from a top-down angle, you're seeing two headlights like on a 4-wheeler riding around through the woods, zigzagging around with a spotlight, like shining deer. And you might be intrigued about what are these fucking monkeys doing? Like, why are they running from tree to tree, grabbing bananas out? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's just the same concept I was talking about. Like, they're treating us like a fucking science experiment. They're just intrigued. Like
They're taking our deer.
Like it, because
I think aliens.
theoretically, that's how
they.
they got there anyway. Was because of their curiosity. Is how they got what got them into space. If they are there, right? Like they didn't just get there because that's like their genetical programming. They had to have gotten there because it was their curiosity, and they developed science and knowledge and stuff. So be the same way if we went to another planet looking at bacteria. We'd be so intrigued by it, or any life form for that matter. So
Can't
they
we
found
have
us by
hobbies?
chance.
I don't know
And
that
the
our
chances of us,
curiosity is enough to drive us. I think that it would have to be some sort of resource, some kind of money, greed, power motivated
maybe you're right.
us.
I mean, you could be completely right. It's like using us as like the workforce, just like we do with horses and stuff like that. You can make a great point, but it's also important to keep in mind that we might be the only life forms within trillions of fucking light years. There are other galaxies and stuff around us, but we might be the only life form around our part of the galaxy. So maybe they're just coming here for that simple fact. Like it's like going to the zoo. But it could be the fact, like you're saying, it's either one or the other, right? They're watching us as like a zoo spectation and we can just live our lives in our environment, or they're using us as cattle and we're not even aware of it.
Or they want our water, or they're using our magnetic field to
Or
recharge their
gold
ship.
or whatever people theorize. Yeah, right.
I
But it
think a
just
lot
seems
of
kind
them.
of low effort in my theory, It's like doesn't seem like enough. What do we output that they can't get from space, right?
Looking for
We're
a place to
humans.
live like we are, because their home world's been destroyed by an asteroid.
True, because it's a livable galaxy, right? And it might be like I said, the only one that's livable around.
But imagine
a great
if
point.
we went back to 1776 and we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna jump on this this tube and we're gonna leave Boston. We're gonna go to California. We're gonna be there in 5 hours. They think they were nuts. You know what I mean? But today, that's a very easy reality. It's a simple technology that we all enjoy. But back then, they were like, you're nuts.
Correct.
You know what I mean? I think maybe space
Exactly.
they have that technology, just like I think I'll visit Earth for the weekend. Lock the doors.
Just bend a little
Surely if they're
space time and hop on
Yeah,
over there.
yeah, exactly.
some snacks.
And surely if they're able to do that, they have to be tens, hundreds of thousands of years ahead of us, no doubt.
We have psychedelics, so of course they want to visit.
Imagine if that was like the one place in the world, like you have to stop at Earth to get this shit. I feel like there's been so many cartoons on this idea, on this concept.
Yeah.
Like you have to go there to get this special space weed. To aliens, like we just smoke weed casually, but then it was like DMT.
I don't know. I also heard the theory that there's aliens that protect ourselves from ourselves, like that'll stop us from launching nukes on
Right,
ourselves.
it could
and
be
such.
us. Yeah.
So that's the
Yeah.
part that makes me think they're us, traveling from the future, us traveling time and future. So
Correct.
because
They
we are
wanted to hurt us, they
trying to
definitely
get to
could.
Mars.
So why aren't
So-
they?
I tend to think that's plausible.
Yeah.
Yep, it's very plausible, man.
We're trying to save ourselves from ourselves.
All the different countries having nukes now. I mean, it could be a very possible reality that one goes off, and you know what I mean. And I think we're very blessed. The only bad situation we really had is that Chernobyl. When there could be a lot worse situations with weapons. And that was kind of like a natural disaster, kind of human error thing. But I don't know. I think.
Have you ever heard that astronauts in space, whenever they are in space, they actually live a little bit shorter of a lifespan than we do? They time travel basically. People who've been in the International Space Station by like a fraction of a second. So it's the same concept as you go way across space and time and you're around different objects. Einstein, he was MC squared. You start to mess around with traveling across space, you can travel time periods too. So when you're near a black hole, you can watch Earth transform 1,000,000 years in 10 minutes and then come back and there'll be a totally different world that you lived in. So surely if anybody's traveling across space, they understand space-time and they're able to manipulate this factor.
Like that movie Interstellar.
So theoretically, it could be. Right,
He
exactly,
killed
man.
his mother, and he was a young man, and she was
Yes,
his
bro.
daughter.
That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. That's crazy, dude. This
Same
time
thing.
warp shit.
The same thing happens if you go really fast. For light,
Correct.
time doesn't exist. It stands still. So
Right.
light doesn't really experience time. But if you got close to the speed of light, then you're going to experience time dilation just like near a gravitational source. And it's hard thinking of living close enough to a black hole, you could just zip over there for 10 minutes or, for a couple of hours,
Right.
days, or whatever.
Yeah,
It would
of
be
course. If you have
more
the energy to be able
feasible
to
to
escape the black
travel
hole.
fast and then turn around and come back. Maybe we're looking at maybe only a couple of years instead of 65 or something like Interstellar, but that's a real
Yeah,
thing.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Futurama, but there was an episode like that where they went around in time and they were in a time machine, they slipped and hit the knob, so they had to keep going again. So essentially, I like to think that time works like that. Like we're going in a giant loop, trillions and trillions of years, hundreds of trillions of years even, around in a giant loop from the Big Bang down to the big cooling extracts and blows up again. The big freeze, if you will.
I like to think of space-time not as a plane, but maybe a toroid where it wraps around itself
Right,
and
right.
like a donut. We like donuts in this
Correct. We've
group.
already been here, had this conversation, and all variations of this conversation as well. Yeah, and I like to think about that. It's like the idea of the four agreements. It's literally coincides with me because I like to think there's a version of me who's not practicing the four agreements, doesn't know anything about it. So there's a version of me that does know about the four agreements, is always practicing it, is like doing way better than I am now. So I try to like level myself up to that version of me, that alternate reality version of me. It's one of those things, like whether it's real or not, who cares? But it's the concept that helps me level up in life, think about life a little bit more intricately.
HB, if you could have any donut right now, what would it be? I think I would have a maple bacon.
Maple bacon.
Mm.
I don't know. I like the maple glazed ones. The sour cream maple glazed donuts are pretty good.
What about you, Kim?
I
You
think
don't-
I'd take that maple bacon too. Anything with
That
bacon.
shit sounds good, dude. I'm like, damn, dude. Whatever the hell I had was that. Where'd you hear that at? Did you have
I
one or
had them.
something?
Those are wicked good. Yeah, they're wicked good. What about you, Laura? You
What
like
about
donuts?
you?
I just had a maple bacon one this morning, actually.
No way.
But when
What
you
y'all
asked the
doing? What's going on in the
one-
world?
Mm,
first
they are
one that
great, aren't they? That or a blueberry
really
cake. I
fun-
like the blueberry cake ones too. Those are great.
that's what I had
Come
this
on, make
morning.
those.
We have a place called Peace, Love, and Little Donuts around here,
Oh, nice.
Well,
and they
cool.
sell the little mini cake ones that are gourmet, all kinds of different gourmet flavors. And my daughter brought some home.
Awesome.
What a
But
nice.
the French curl is what I thought of when you asked the question.
Mm.
Hmm.
What do you think of AI and what's to come? What do you guys think?
I have an
This is from
experience.
Ella in the chat.
I hope I don't lose my job to it.
What, Kim?
I hope I don't lose my job to it.
Oh, lose your job to it. Yeah.
I have 10 more
Because
years.
I hope
before
there's-
I
it'll
retire.
take a lot of the upper income. It's threatening the higher paying jobs. It is.
I don't think we should avoid. I think we need to learn it, and I think we need to learn it
Right.
early so we're not late. Because I think it's going to be the future. And, if you use it like I use Gemini, you have to get proficient with the commands. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind. You have to know, be very specific,
Right.
and tell it the right things. And I can build a website in less than like 2 minutes. Using AI. Where, me trying to code, I'm a meathead. I can't do it. But I can sit there and I can tell my phone
Right.
or the laptop, everything be as specific as I can. And it might take me 15 minutes to tell it all, but then as soon as I hit the enter, in 1 minute it's done, and it looks professional. So I think we could use it to our advantage, or we can kind of hate on it, and it's but it is taking away a lot of talented people, talented skills, and especially
Correct.
art and stuff.
Yeah, man.
I think
I see
there
people's
was a
fear.
guy. There was a guy in North Carolina. He got arrested because he was making music with it, and he had these bots. They were listening to it, and he got like over $5 million in music royalties. Nobody was listening to this. It was all bots. It was all done. He used AI, and he ended up
Oh.
going to prison for it because I think he got greedy. But if he stayed under the radar and just like 100 grand,
That's crazy.
200 grand a year, he could have lived comfortably. You know what I'm saying?
It's crazy. Many people
Yeah.
probably are doing
There's
that.
the worry about the power it pulls, though.
Those are the
Correct,
data
all the
centers
water
and
and
stuff
everything.
like they're doing. I don't think there's really much difference compared to a lot of the other internet that we're using. For the average user, but they do have those data centers,
We really
and
don't understand.
those are
They're
concerns
trying to
for
build
people.
one in my community.
Yeah, they're building one down the road from
Yeah.
here too.
I'm a
But
little scared,
I feel like
and
the AI really does a lot more good than the internet in general because we're solving way more problems with AI than the internet. So that's what eventually is going to happen. We're going to get rid of like just basic internet, so like switch over to AI, and it's going to be more beneficial. So whatever water or energy that's going to take, it's going to do more good. I think it's like the idea of the atomic bomb becoming new. It's dangerous. It's like has a lot of power to it, but AI doesn't necessarily have that instant power or evilness to it. So it's just about understanding. And I like to equate it to what Socrates used to say about writing, because as we know, Socrates was a really great mind, but he thought that people writing stories in books and having pen and paper would take away from their imagination and stop them from being able to put it out into the world. The same concept of what you're talking about with AI and music. Because now people could just create AI music. Why would we sit down and strum a guitar when we don't have to? So it's never going to go away though, because it's
Take one
different.
nuke to destroy all of the AI, everything. It would
Correct.
just take some nukes and we have a big EMP
Right.
or some other source of EMP
And,
and that all is gone. So you become reliant on new technology. I think AI is great in solving problems and doing certain things, but young people are becoming reliant on it to decide what they're going to wear today, where they're going to live, what kind of job they're going to do, just everything. And I don't think
Correct.
that's good.
even relationships,
Correct.
people are using it as a
100%.
relationship buddy, and I think that's really dangerous. But there are they have DNA sequencing. They can put your blood or whatever into the computer, and also like what you have, and it will give you a specific treatment for different cancers and
Yeah,
stuff
man.
like that.
Fucking
So I
magical,
mean,
dude.
something that a doctor can hit or miss on, where this AI will make it tailored very specifically for treatment, I think is going to be the
The
future in
future, man.
medical. I'm doing it now,
Yeah.
so but there are a lot of very dangers, like you said, and I think that um, that chat girlfriend or chat relationship, chat boyfriend thing, I think that's awful. I don't think people should be doing that because then you're losing the human connection, and there's that ain't a replacement for it.
When you put the AI in the robot body, and then it's really tempting not to socialize with actual people. There's the death of a species right there. Going to the sperm bank.
Right.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
because it
there's
takes
already
out all the. I don't have to worry about what this girl thinks of me, or I don't have to worry about this guy cheating on me. You can just date this robot, 100%. Which just doesn't appeal to me, and it doesn't like. It's not a life that I would ever see myself living. But I come from a different generation. Like I come from like the very cusp of like the internet starting to become a thing and stuff like that. So I don't think kids these days have the benefit of that. And it's the same exact thing I was saying about guys and girls. Like that's the point I was trying to make is that we can't relate to that generation because they have a different experience than us. Their experience is different. They've only known the internet. So it's like us trying to hear our grandparents talking about whenever they first had electricity for the first time. It's like, yeah, we can imagine it, but we don't really know what it was like. It's not really a way for us to comprehend it because it changed our world around us.
I think I grew up in the right time, before all the internet, before MySpace, which is antique now, but like just
What is
being able to
MySpace? Can you
outside
explain
ride
that to me?
not worry about that stuff. And you think that we are safer now than we were then because, you know, all the cameras and all the technology and everything, but I really don't think we are, you know. Um, there's still all kinds of crimes and stuff that go, like that reporter lady, her mother just got kidnapped recently, you know, and they haven't solved that with all this modern technology. You know, it's kind of, are we really any safer with all this stuff around everybody's doorbell cameras? And I don't think we are. I think it's you know, it's a different level of, we have predators on our phones and predators on our kids' games and stuff, and not enough safeguards, I don't think. So I think kind of, you know, we have all this technology, but we're not using it properly. You know,
Yeah, it's just how stuff's going to be for a while, because it's a new thing. It's going to be a lot because it's not like kids discovering how to learn how to drive or drink alcohol for the first time. It's because we're all discovering it for the first time. Nobody knows what AI is capable of because we never experienced it. So we're just trying to learn, and I think exactly what you're saying is just trying to learn how to use it for proper and good, and that will always outdo. Like that's what we do with the internet, right? Because for every pedophile that you find on the internet, there's somebody out there on the internet who's using the internet to catch that pedophile. So it's like we have to try to understand that the same sword that you can use to kill someone with, you could use it to conquer the enemy that's trying to kill you with it. Nukes are the same way, right? So it's nuclear. That's what it is. It's warfare because now people can attack somebody from across the world. They don't even have to be near them. They can just do it with the power of hacking and AI. These bots can control our elections and stuff like that.
Do you think it'll get to the point where AI just attacks without us being involved?
So
I think
the
it has
issue,
it will have the ability to for sure.
as we're building these AI workers, we are programming them to use logic. So the AI bots are then programmed to go off on their own and use the logic that they've been programmed with. And they very, very quickly go to things that we as humans don't feel are moral. For example, somebody created an AI bot to monitor an email inbox that seemed to be pretty benign, that they thought an AI bot could do and answer emails. The AI bot, since it was programmed to use logic, quickly was able to pick up, read all the information from the incoming emails and whatever they were involved with, and resorted to blackmail to get to the it was the quickest way to get the business solution they wanted. So that's what they did.
wow.
So it's so complex. It is so complex, this AI programming and AI use. And another thing, I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I was recently looking for extra money because, bills and stuff. I'm a single mom. And I signed up for a study, and I had very little information going into this study. I walked into this study and I ended up, it was for Meta. It was for Meta. And I ended up being in the most, I looked it up afterwards. Like I searched every YouTube and, Google I could. The most, this sphere with thousands and thousands of flashes and cameras for over an hour. And I was in one of the most complex avatar creating machines that exist in the world. And they made an avatar of me. And that makes me really kind of nervous. Really kind of nervous. Shortly after that, I saw all kinds of advertisements for the Meta AI or whatever, and
Mhm.
my friends using the cartoon version. And oh my gosh, did it like throw me a little over the edge? Like, where's this going and how fast is this going? And now, where am I? Like, and now I make jokes. Now it's like a little later, and I make jokes. Like, I wonder what Avatar Laura's doing right now. But really, I don't know. It's a
We
lot
could be
to think.
selling products all over the world, in different languages and stuff, and there's no telling if they're using your likeness, I suppose, with that avatar.
Well,
Yeah.
there was once I looked into after the fact, and once I looked into it, it is so much more than that. And what they created and the information that they collected is so much more. I found the information and what they created is they made an avatar of me so exact that they could see the pores on my skin, they could see the hair. I didn't do my eyebrows good enough that day, and like every single hair, it's complex.
Wow.
Mhm. It's not cartoonish at all.
Hmm.
It reminds me
Yeah.
of the cornfield quote. I just think that whenever things become too big for us to wrap our minds around and too big for us to actually physically do anything about, we just have to tend to the garden we can touch. Because
That's a
I
circle of
like
influence. Circle of influence and
correct,
close it in. And then all of a sudden
correct.
I was like, oh shit, I made an avatar and now that's in my circle of influence.
It is all what you put yourself around 100%. Because I could close my eyes and just clear my mind and then look at life in a fresh new perspective for a second and be like, oh yeah, the world's perfect. There's so many beautiful waterfalls and crazy tropical islands, and I could really just pick and choose what I want to look at the world as. Or I could like flip the coin and look at it from a really negative perspective and say the world's full of hate and murder and war and corruption. And I crave a heart that has both. I talked about this on the show multiple times. I want a heart that can be able to go to a place where I'm not familiar with and look at it and go, well, there's a lot of beautiful stuff here, but there's this corruption, and whenever I see it, be able to call it out and fix it because it's within my grasp to be able to reach and touch and fix. But AI is just unfortunately not one of those things. Like, because I'm not around AI other than just like being on our phones and using it for like making a stupid picture or whatever. Um, but I feel like if I was in a position to be able to do something, I definitely would. And outside of that, I just really can't. So I just try to, turn a blind eye to it, I guess. And the reality of it all, it's just outside of my control. And if it is coming to get us, there's really nothing we can do anyway, right? The grand scheme of it all. But I think in the end, if it will be more beneficial, it's just like I was talking about with Socrates. I think that obviously books and writing have changed our world. It's like made our world way better for what it is. So hopefully AI will have the same concept, the same.
The things we can do are keep using our critical thinking skills as humans and encourage others around us to keep doing that as well. Using AI as a tool is great, but using it as a substitute for all of our thinking, it's like The Time Machine by H.G.
creativity.
Wells.
100%. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's funny. I was just watching or listening to that the other day. So throw it back in time. Yep. Yeah, it takes away from our creativity, our logical thinking, our social skills. It's happening right before our eyes, like Derek was mentioning, with people creating AI partners and um, AI music, everything like that. It's taking away from what we know that the world's going to change, whether we like it or not. And I feel like we can't be the old people who are stuck in our ways. Like back in my day, we have to move forward with the times to a certain point, right? And not just accept everything, but like learn how to move with the flow and change it as we go. Because if we fight it, it's going to be like
The teachers used to say, "You're not going to have a calculator in your pocket." Oh yeah.
little did they know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The world, we have to like adapt as times go along, though, because we don't know what the future will bring. But we definitely don't want to be one of those people for sure. Cool. It's been great having you girls on. We're about hour 40 minutes in. You girls want to throw anything else at us before we get out of here?
Thanks for having us on. It's been fun.
And, yeah, we're gonna have you guys on again as well. This is the second time Laura's been on, and it's been great having you guys. So, if you ever want to come on again, just give us a heads up. And what we normally do, Bertie wasn't around today; he's busy in a meeting. But we normally do a troubleshooting thing before the show, so we can do that next time to make sure the volume and everything works. Because we've had this happen before. So appreciate you all being here. And
next to each other instead of,
Yeah, the right orientation.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you all for being here and joining us, and have a great night. And we'll see you guys again. Everybody, you guys can join us tomorrow for Derek's Bible studies at 9 p.m. EST. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night. Bye.
Thank you,
Nice.
Laura. Thank you, Kim.